Here in the top right corner of the map. Maybe doesn't want to play some macro. Maybe just wants some payback. Either way, it's going to be the red Terran aLive.
In the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, he is Trap.
Okay, taking a quick look at the brackets while this goes on. Keen does advance to go fight against Rogue.
Nice.
That series actually already underway. Damn, there's a walkover. As you say, if that timed out, we could have kissed that. But the winner of this goes on to fight against Cure, actually, which I'm quite excited about, because Cure was one of our favorites before he became everyone else's. Like, real hipster movement stuff here on Cure. So, whether it's a TvP or another TvP or a TvT, I think that won't be too bad of a one to cover. But I do want to really stress and remind everybody, we're going to be casting both of the qualifying matches today. So you will see most likely Seed versus, I want to say Rogue, I'm guessing, for that bottom one. Maybe Keen pulls it out. And what I'm hoping to see is Patience versus somebody in the other semifinals. Because Patience and Blaze PvP, that could go either direction. But I am going to be rooting for Patience just a little bit.
So, Proxy Reaper into a one-base build has certainly been making the rounds. One-base builds in general have been making the rounds for Terran versus Protoss. That is definitely how all three Terrans got out of their qualifying matches last Korean qualifier. Now, the probe scouts this. I mean, no barracks, double gas. It's the question of what variation of the 1-1-1 we're going to see here. Is it going to be like Cyclone push on Orbital Shipyard? I don't think so. Is it going to be straight up to Liberators? Going to be like a tank push? There are actually so many options of the 1-1-1.
So, okay, a couple of very cool things happening, though. And one of them being this pylon block. Like, yes, you're Terran, you can just lift up and put your second command center wherever you want, but it's not the easy-beasy way to do it. The Zealot being the other very interesting choice. Because you do scout this, but what can you do? You know, his build was already going about as fast as you can. You don't get the Mothership Core out much faster. You don't get the Adept out much faster. It is worth noting, though, he is skipping over the Mothership Core. So Trap may be looking to throw down a Stargate when the Reaper gets pushed back.
Probably. The Reaper could notice that. Could notice that just because, you know, that should be a Mothership Core chronoed out right now. But the second Reaper gets in here now, is probably going to die.
Yeah, the first one...
It's a little stuck. It's a little stuck.
Yeah.
There you go.
Scouts the Robo, actually, so not a Stargate. Either way, I mean, the point is you skip a Mothership Core to get faster tech, and seeing that Robo is going to be high alert for get a Cyclone out, man. There we go.
Yeah. I wonder, like, Trap scouted everything, so this is probably a response directly to what aLive is doing. I just wonder how good of a response it's going to be, getting maybe an Immortal or Instant War Prism over a Mothership Core, basically. You know, that extra energy. Like on Orbital Shipyard, there's only one ramp, which is why a direct push from aLive is always going to be, you know, more dangerous than on, say, like Lairlac Crest, where you have, well, you used to have 2 ramps. But the point is, like, a much wider natural to micro around with. But I guess we gotta wait and see. It's gonna be an Observer first. I guess there's always a fear that it's a Widowmine drop, too. Very quick Widowmine follow-up, which one is on the way, but that feels more defensive. The Cyclone actually went outside. It's being brave.
It's risky. I mean, maybe something to catch a Warp Prism in the middle of the map or something. But salutations and thanks to Johasi, however you pronounce that name, just sub to the channel.
I don't know.
It's like a bad, was it Rammstein song, right? Like Johas Mech.
Let's see. We actually got the replay feedback back, and a lot of I don't cares. Where's the people that do care? Where are you people?
Yeah, Seraph 6 put it pretty much exactly how I viewed it in the first place, where he says, I love having the ability to view the replays, despite the fact that I don't typically do it. It's just a nice perk to have. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the original intention anyways. It was not supposed to be a selling point. It's like, oh my god, we're selling people replays, but yeah, it's good to know that at least some people enjoy having it, even if it's not frequently used, just knowing that you have that option available.
Yay. Alright, so the Widowmine is used defensively, just kills that Zealot. That is already so weak. Liberator was sent across the map, so this was definitely more of harassment. You can see a big push on a different map, but has the harassment done enough? I don't know about that.
Do 2 Adepts not have the damage to out damage 1 SCV repairing?
Apparently not.
Alright, the nice thing about the Liberator when it comes to dealing with this is it does still trade out with about 2 stalkers usually per session, so not bad. Not bad.
I guess aLive has his command center on the low ground, or in position, I should say, now. But it was a little worrying to see him not only down in workers, but also still not having lifted his command center over. Now I guess it's okay. It's getting better, but the graphs are of course still in favor of Trap.
Yeah, that pylon block helped a lot. That was actually a pretty good 100 mineral investment. Now Widowmine's coming over here. Mothership Core's waiting. Nope, says the other one.
Well, it's out of range of the pylon, or tried to be.
That was kind of cool. He also I think he was trying to use one Widowmine to catch the retreating probes instead of the other way around, but that doesn't end up working out. Does pick up the Widowmine and walk away though, so not too bad.
Yeah. Come back another day with that medevac alive. It's always going to be worth it. So another medevac is on the way too. That can shuffle around this tank, the second tank actually, that aLive has gotten. That's not a bad army to push with, but we do have an immortal or two probably going to be out by the time they go over to push. And that's not a bad army for Trap either. Trap not being too greedy, not getting like the super quick third base, which some other Protosses might have done against what has only been harassment so far. You know, not a direct push. But maybe now getting a third base, still waiting on it, has to deal with the Widowmine drop in the main again. It's gonna get 2 probes. Nope. Not even, 1 probe.
Yeah, this is a very strange game too, so let's not forget this did start with a Proxy Reaper that didn't necessarily get a whole hell of a lot done.
Oh man, he did this versus a Lenok. It's totally different versus Protoss, especially when there's no third base.
Oh no. Blink's so close to being done for this too. That could have gotten real scary. Yeah, if the third base is down, I think he would have actually definitely gone for this position. That's where he was aiming for. But realizing that there wasn't a third, there still isn't a third. Yeah. That means, if nothing else, that usually means the Protoss army is going to be really big coming across the map. So going home is not a bad choice.
Yeah, it's going to be big and deal with your push, so go back on with your push. It's going to be big, so maybe think about defenses. It actually was probably a nice scout. You know, he probably thinks that I have a pretty nice defense with 3 tanks, the medevacs to pick him up and whatnot, and stim already done. So the fact that my third base is a lot quicker, actually almost done, compared to Trap just putting his down, might actually be really nice for aLive. This War Prism is going to try and just kill his workers, though. It has 4 depths in here. Not Resident Glaives, so not the quickest kills.
There is no turrets down. Yeah, they're really game 1. You know, really nice turret placement coming out of the Widowmines. Surprised we don't actually see that.
Does that medevac see it? It does see it.
Okay, that's pretty good. So Marines gonna start shuffling over immediately. Stim is done. Counter shields is done. Actually, just completed.
Yep. Plus one on the way, getting a Vikings. He knows how much the War Prism gave him a headache in that first game.
I was trying to look for that. I couldn't click on it for some reason, but pretty quick storm, actually.
Yep.
Now, obviously, ghosts, EMPs, that removes them from the equation, but you can still split. You can still take good engagements without them. Tanks have got the range to treat them somewhat like infestors, where you can just zone them out. But yeah, Trap's gonna definitely, I think, catch aLive a little off guard with this, because a lot of people do not go fast storms.
I wonder how it's gonna work out versus what is still not like, you know, it's tank heavy in that we usually don't see tanks. Although they've certainly made their way back into a composition Legacy of the Void. It's like if you start off making tanks defensively, you might see the Terran player continue making tanks, but they're never going to, you know, get to 3 bases with bio and then start making tanks.
This little guy sees about 3 or 5 Templar, actually. I'm not sure if you saw those last 2 come in, but either way, 3 Templar is enough to be a bit of an alarm. We do have the Mothership Core waiting to defend this Liberator.
Those rocks are already broken down. aLive might not have been expecting that. Does plant the tanks down, though.
Well, I know he was. That's how he walked the Marine into the...
Oh, that's right. Just went over that. I guess he wasn't expecting the army there, though.
No, Liberator does actually outrange this first pylon, not the second one, however. A little unfortunate. He gets about 8 kills, though. Not too bad. And, of course, these tanks are going to be what pressures an actual fight. Just kind of forces Trap to have to do or die type thing. Picking off the assimilator for free, not wasting stims. That pylon's going to go down. Again, if you can shoot those Templar from far away, why the hell not do it? Segment some Marines forward. Storm's starting to come down. This choke could be dangerous to play with. Medevac's not picking up those tanks, trying to heal the army instead, and there's not that many Medevacs left.
Some nice force fields at the end. All the High Templars, so except this one still alive, but the rest of them did die. some nice tank fire shots, but looks like aLive is the one that has to back off. Now that was actually a pretty even trade. They're at even army supply, and aLive is up in that upgrade. In fact, he's going to be up 1-1 entirely. Trap was quite late to the double forge.
Nice snipe on that observer. I was going to say, though, one thing I'm a little bit worried about was whether he lost his medevacs, because he is producing double liberators at a time, and he doesn't have the, like, 9 medevacs he had in game 1. And that heavy medevac count in the first game today, the beauty of it was it allowed him to do all those crazy drops, which eventually led him to win the game. It wasn't a death push, and it wasn't like a death ball of Terran that won that game. It was multitasking out of aLive. So, well, a couple of liberators at a time is not bad, and I do enjoy seeing liberators. I hope he doesn't go too heavy on them, because that seems to be where a lot of Terran players fall in this matchup.
He might be just getting the 2 for harassment.
Yeah, it is about keeping an eye on production, see what's up next.
Yeah.
Okay, more medevacs, that's good.
Yeah, with those second starports or fusion core, I guess that's what kind of is the tip off. And of course, going for ghosts and liberators is quite expensive, and he's not on the 4th base yet.
Couple of
we'll see if
the army.
If he invests in any more. They aren't going to use her for harassment. They're going to be used to try and get into that choke that is so commonly found when the Protoss player is going to try and get a 4th base.
Ooh, double
nice
kill!
Feedbacks. Nice.
I mean, aLive should have hit one of those EMPs. It's unfortunate.
A little bit. The upgrades are entirely in favor of aLive right now, but that is about to change.
Gotta keep an eye out for those storms coming to the back. Nice EMP on the Templar in the front. Of course, there's those 2 from behind looking to flank the army.
But the tanks are there. The liberators are there.
It's very important that the tanks and the liberators are there, of course. No 4th base to actually pressure yet, so this position out of aLive is not super critical to this, but again, these 2 Templar could be fantastic depending.
Ooh, he has an observer right there.
All right, they come for the backside. Tank's going to get some shots, but he runs into 2 storms. Now got to kite away, give up those tanks, and just run back home. A little bit of a hit squad segmented off to the left side, but again, there's no 4th base out of Trap, and that's what I think is throwing aLive for a bit of a loop. Trap's not playing nearly as macro hard as you would expect. 4th base comes down from the location just retreated from, and this army, it's looking for high ground vision, but damn, it's so weak.
Yeah, I think in general you're right on that one. Like the 3rd base wasn't down when he tried to push, so he had to retreat. The 4th base wasn't down when he tried to push, so he had to retreat. Now that is of course cutting into Trap's economy. Like he could have been even bigger with the army supply if he had been able to get those earlier bases. But it is safe play, and so far Trap is the one benefiting from his play in this game.
You know, it's kind of funny. It's not bad macro. aLive is actually, excuse me, Trap is playing very precisely, but it is almost like a player with bad macro would be better against a playstyle of aLive. That's a lot of ghosts. He's got to be careful about this.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a lot of
more
immortals
medevacs
too, though. Like this army in general has a lot of damage in it. Once again, aLive is going to have the barest of upgrade leads. I think Chrono's going into 2-2 now, though, so maybe not. Second Robo on the way, either double pumped immortals or, of course, using them for Warp Prism or Observer production. It looks like he's going to go into Disruptor production. We saw 1 Disruptor in that first game, and it died. So we'll see if these can do any better.
No, medevac gets, sorry, not medevac, a dep gets taken care of. Attack here in the middle of the map. These Marines and Marauders will sadly intercept it. That Archon going to go down pretty quickly on the front lines. A couple more shots. He wants it. He wants it.
Upgrades just finished for Trap, so he could try and turn around and take the fight. I think he wants to wait for the Disruptors, though, and the Ghosts, yeah, EMPing everything. He definitely has to retreat now.
Ghosts are so fast. I mean, like, we know Ghosts are fast now. That context comes in when you see them outrun an entire Protoss army, though. Widowmine goes down, gets a decent shot, hits a lot of those Adepts. But now this is the Disruptors, and aLive's got to be careful. I don't think he knows about these.
Gotta scan.
There's like combination of Storm and Disruptors. Like, splitting is not going to be enough. This situation is actually quite harrowing and very dangerous.
This is where Liberators might be the better option.
Oh, feedback's so good!
Oh my god, the feedbacks from Trap, man.
Not just the feedbacks, but I mean, just like littering the Templar in the middle of the map. This looks dangerous. You think, like, oh, if you're not looking for 1 second, that's such an expensive loss. Even the Disruptor over here, can he focus it down? Does focus it down. But this whole army is distracted. Trap's in the wrong spot. The real attack's in the main.
Okay, the Disruptor misses. The Disruptor is going to get nice hits. Of course, that Well, okay, they lost on one disruptor. I thought the second one was going to go down too. Almost a mothership core. Target fires the cybernetics core.
There we go.
Okay, they both still go down.
Let's go for
Very
the double
nice.
robos. He doesn't want any more disruptors to deal with. That's a pretty smart choice. Finish it off. Maybe 1 or 2 more shots.
Oh, you can get the adepts. So,
However,
well, it thinks we missed a bit of an army fight to the other side.
Well,
I
it
think
wasn't that big of an. I mean, it stormed in feedback before it even began. But this is for aLive. He's gonna have to hold back until his production on the top of the ramps ready to go. This attack in the main gonna depower these gateways and try and cut out any reinforcements. This disruptor gets caught upon creation. Oh my God! Split second timing. Okay, so he's gonna try and hold on this side of the map. That command center, I'm not sure if he wants to lift it or not. There we go, so he can get the surface area. This is getting a little bit messy though on both sides. Not quite a full-on base trade, but a little bit.
If it goes better for the Terran, though,
depends.
The planetary is still up, and aLive is actually on production, whereas Trap
Liberators.
isn't quite on production.
There's actually not that much anti-air here. A couple of stalkers gonna come in, but the Liberator will take out at least 2 of them at a time.
Boom, boom.
Meanwhile, other side of the map, there is no defense. All the gateways were depowered / killed, and this is actually, there is no production. It's like 1 disruptor at a time, but in the heart of the army.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, production for aLive starting to go down too at his 3rd, but he still has the main entirely secure and a 4th base mining.
While this went on, by the way, sorry, we just barely caught at the end of it, but that disruptor barely missed. aLive had picked up at the very last possible second. Widowmine gets a pretty good shot. Feedbacks on these medevacs, possibly? No, that tempo's actually out of juice. aLive may just be cinching this here at the very end. I mean, this was...
I think so.
This did go a little bit base tradey, but Trap has no... He could have all the money in the world. He's trying to get gateways down. He's got no means to warp in.
Yeah, whereas aLive has saved, I think, all of his command centers. Even his 3rd went over to the planetary.
Oh, the rocks
He still has
still
upgrades
up,
on the
too.
way. His, well, yeah, that's a little awkward. The Liberators are getting some really nice, kind of free damage. 2 more on the way as he realizes the Liberators might save them. Even without the Liberators, though, I think he would have a better chance here.
Feedbacks? No, that's doing.
Yeah, probably could have feedback. Definitely that 1 medevac.
I can't, like, Trap is barely hanging on by a thread at this point in the game, and it's not even about his economy or his production. They're both just, a lot of trouble. And this push out of aLive towards the 4th, if this base goes down, Trap doesn't have money to replace anything else. The Cyber Core gonna get sniped again. This Marauder, how are you alive?
No stalkers for the Liberators. He's only down to like 3.
This is probably game for poor Trap, but
It
aLive,
is.
man, I love watching this guy play.
Yeah, that was this has been some really superb play by both players, and I really hope Trap does not forfeit in the losers brackets. So that has happened in the past.
Yeah, but in fairness, the previous losers bracket was really daunting because of how large it was.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping this one is a little bit more acceptable. We got a new